Hey guys, welcome back to another 5-minute market update. If you are liking this content, please give us a like, subscribe, or share the content so we can help go viral and combat the open mouth selfie taking terrible crypto and market content that is going viral anyway. So yeah, it would be good if you guys could help me out on that one. Let's get into the video. So basically what we're looking at right now is the SPX, right? And this is the actual Standard Poor's index, right? So it's not futures or anything like that. It's the actual market. And I just watched Bob Lucas's cycle video, and I tend to agree with what he has to say. And basically, his overview was that we're looking here at the potential for a top after a 16-week up cycle. So usually the cycles are around 24 weeks when they're a healthy cycle. In bear markets, they can be a little bit choppy all over the place. But what we have been getting is what you call a left translated cycle. And that means that the up phase of the market is quite fast. So you can see only 3 weeks up, and then we had 14 weeks down, 8 weeks up, and then 17 out of 17 weeks in total. So it's on the left-hand side of the half point of that cycle, right? This is what we call a right translated cycle. Now, in previous videos, I talked a lot about the potential for this to come down and form a higher low. So, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower lows through here, right? And now we have our lower low. And if you call this a high, which it potentially isn't, and this is actually the high, right? Of the cycle, then we still need to make a significant higher low, right? So it's looking pretty good at the moment for a complete shift in market structure. But I believe that there's probably one more shakeout due to come. And of course, it can go much deeper as well, but we are starting to make those higher lows through here and, a little bit of a higher high through here. But what we ultimately want to see is this one get taken out to call an end to the bear market, right? So it wouldn't surprise me, because we are getting sort of long in this cycle here, as they usually go for 24 weeks at a time, to have a sell-off phase and potentially come back down and sweep the liquidity pool that is going to be underneath these wicks here on the weekly. Because everybody that went long through here, they're going to have stops. So there's going to be a lot of stop losses and liquidations all set through there that, if we start to wick into, will close and get taken out, right? So it wouldn't be surprising if this came down and then reset and moves to the upside. So for long-term stock market plays and stuff like that, I'm getting prepared to be entering into those positions on the next cycle pullback that we're guessing is probably going to go, well, that's 2 more weeks, right? So probably going to go for around 6 weeks potentially, right? That will probably coincide with the DXY pushing for another couple of weeks. So could be a little bit of a bearish market pushing into the rest of March, right? It's just something to think about for this higher time frame sort of stuff. Now, if we zoom into our if we zoom in on the futures market, right, this is Orlando Exchange, and look at our key levels. There's key weekly support level through here. Now we could see price pull back to that level there and give a retest of this downtrend broadening descending wedge that we sort of have. So it could look something like that, potentially and go, or we do end up hitting that liquidity pool, fake out to the downside, and then take off from there. So that's sort of what I'm looking at the moment. On the ES chart, it's telling a bit more of a tale with the break of this trend line, and it's hanging back around the Friday's lows close. We actually haven't opened the actual market yet, because last night in New York, we actually had a bank holiday. So they had the day off. So it's going to be really telling what happens in the first couple of days of this week, if we're going to come back down and sweep the liquidity pool that is in here, or if we're just going to break out and push to the upside. So that's going to have potential selling pressure on BTC. And at the moment for crypto, what I'm looking at here is, I'm going to just draw this as liquidity zone through here. Every time we come up basically into this wick through here, there's a lot of selling pressure happening, right? Now, it would make a lot of sense to me that price comes back down to retest this trend line, and perhaps, we could even go wick to wick, right? So on the close, I'm looking for a close above that level. For wicks, I'm looking for a wick to touch that level. So potentially this comes back down here, right? That would be, the easy mode play for the ascending triangle. And we can see if that ends up playing out or not. But the moment, just have a little short on here just to hedge some of my spot position at the moment in case we do have that one more swing low. And obviously, if that starts to push up through this liquidity zone, I'll just take it off and let it run for the push up to 30K, because I think that will happen quite fast. But there is definitely potential for this to have one more swing low, and then we end up getting something like this, right? So one other trigger that I'll be watching for is a reclaim of, just say this is a little bear flag that breaks down. A reclaim of this level through here would be pretty nice to see get taken out before a push. But obviously the big breakout level is going to come if we can get a solid close on the 4 hourly, and daily above 2,500. It's pretty much 2,500. Sorry, 25. Oh my God, I can't speak. Let's try that again. 25,200 is the level I'm looking at, right? And then I'm expecting this gap in here to fill pretty quickly and to come up to pretty much 28,600. And it'll probably push all the way through to 30K anyway with wicks, etc. And then we'll have to see what happens. It'll either get above this level and come back and retest it, or we'll get caught up below it. That's a bit hard to tell. Now, looking at Ethereum, it doesn't look great at the moment, starting to bleed out a fair bit against BTC. And we're sort of coming into a bit of a longer term trend line through here. All right, so that really needs to bounce soon off this trend line, because if we lose the market structure here from this low, and then we break this trend line, it can very easily pull all the way back to 0.54. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened while Bitcoin was running really hard, and then so Bitcoin breaks out and pushes to 30K or something like that, maybe even a bit higher, and all the altcoins sell off against Bitcoin, right? We sort of go back into that cycle of moving from Bitcoin pumping and altcoins selling off as everybody moves into BTC. And then you get the nice setups on the BTC pairs. And then once Bitcoin goes sideways, then all the alts start to pump and take off again. So watch out for that cycle to come back, because at the moment it's sort of like Bitcoin pumps and everything else kind of follows, right? Altcoins that I'm liking the look of, right? AGI came back and did a really nice 0.618 retest of its last pump, and is sort of having a little bit of a break of trend through here at the moment. So that could continue up at least until 0.47. This potentially is done, right? And could be complacency flag at the moment. But this thing I feel like it wants to pump. So took a little position here on that little breakout through there. When markets are really bullish, guys, it really can be as easy as just drawing a trend line through its most recent tops on its way down, and just getting in on the breakout with a stop loss below here. And then I just slowly move the stop loss up as it pumps out. Sometimes it will just roll back over, but usually when you get these trend breaks like that, in a really strong bullish market, it's just such a simple way to get into a new entry into a continuation, right? So Solana was the exact same play, right? Just through pretty much like this, right? Had its fake out first and then bled its way across, and then had the pump, and now we're back at the highs, right? This, hard to say. If the market pulls back, that'll be an amazing short entry through there. At the moment, it's hard to tell. It needs a little bit more time to develop, but it could end up forming into some sort of a flag and then push higher. And then my higher target would be 37, but we'll have to see if the stock market and BTC pull back before that gets a chance to really run properly. Aave is one as well. It pretty much just did the same thing as Solana, right? And then Aave higher time frame is looking in a really nice accumulation pattern at the moment. And this looks like a first push sign of strength. And then we'll be looking for that breakout soon to get above this range high before it really starts to move into its markup phase. So if we do get a breakout above these range highs at all, and then we get a flag through there, really want to make sure we're in that flag, because that can get really bullish straight after that. I've just seen this picture time and time again. So if you don't already have a position, this is definitely one we want to get into if it is breaking out of the top of this range, right? But if it breaks out the top of the range like this and then comes back into the range, we don't want to be holding it, right? So that is the trick that you need to be monitoring, that you don't get caught, because that can potentially come all the way back in, let's just say, the market turns to ask for the next couple of months and can break something like this, put in a final spring, and then it ends up going, and you've been holding all the way from here. You probably end up selling here, and then it takes off without you, right? So short, we want to be getting short. If this breaks out the top of the range, we're getting short here, and we'll be looking to take profit after some type of spring down here. And then if it just breaks out and flag patterns through here, we want to be in that for the continuation, because that would be getting into, your final sign of strength before the markup starts. All right, guys, go and find a whole heap of altcoins that look like this in accumulation phases at the moment. If you are in the Discord or in the Facebook group, feel free to share them in the groups if you find some good ones. It'll be a good time for you to practice your charting, and also to share it with other members, and it'll help you learn as well. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. We'll see you all in the next episode.